Hello, Greg.
Hello, David. How are you?
That's a complicated question with a simple answer.
Well,
Okay.
Your porta potty's not, but everything else is good.
Eesh, that's crazy. It's not the news you like to wake up to. At least it's not
No.
in
Are you saying
Newfoundland.
it's crappy news?
Yeah, it's crappy news. It's even more crappy because there's a foot of snow out there.
Well, it's not quite out there. I guess that's higher up, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's mountains almost, right?
Oh man.
So
Yeah. Should have gone out Friday, I guess, eh?
Well, it would have been blown over then with a foot of snow too.
Did it start snowing Friday?
It did out there, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it. Oh, Stig is here. Hello, Stig.
Right, Stig. Yeah.
But we have a special guest too. But we should we say thank you to?
Yeah, 1 second. I'm not ready for this.
All right,
guys. 1 second. Sorry. Because you gotta do it different.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
I can do it.
You got it. You might have it
right there. How's that? Is that what you want? Join us on Patreon.
No, not that one.
Okay.
I mean, but you should. You definitely should, people. If you aren't, today is all about Patreon, actually. Okay, I think I've almost got this.
Because today is our Patreon live stream where we get joined by some of our patrons.
And now, hold on. Cancel this. Hold on. I don't. 1 second. I'm new, people.
It's. Can you tell it's Sunday? Oh, we see your desktop.
No, I don't want process like there. Hey. I did it. Yes. All right. Yeah. Thank you to everybody on the list. Y'all are special. We have a Helge with us right now, actually. So let's bring him in.
We can bring him in.
Bring him in. You click the button because if I click the button too, it'll just
there. He's here.
I am.
But I'm not.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's good. If you are a member of the Patreon clan, the restream link is
it's in the
posted in Discord, I think.
Discord, Patreon, and those are the two places I put it for you guys. And so feel free to click the link and join us if you like. We can have up to 6 people total simultaneously, so we can have 4 of you join us if you'd like. And it's always kind of fun. And hello, Dominic, and hello, Stig, in the chat.
Yeah, hello everybody. So there's been some weird things happen this week that are weird. That's why they're called weird things. So we've been chatting, and if you haven't seen the Discord, one of the guys there, Raymond, and he's usually here. I'm sure he'll be here eventually, or maybe not. But
that's okay.
He was having some issues, weird issues, with Prusa Slicer, and I'm just curious.
I have had the same issue with Prusa Slicer before, and it would just quit halfway through, and whatnot. And I'm not sure why it was doing that. I ended up kind of redoing my whole profile and everything, and then all of a sudden it worked fine. So, and I haven't had problems since. So, I think it might have been an upgrade issue that I did. So I know he's playing with that now to see if he can figure it out.
I mean, it's usually Prusa Slicer is usually okay for me. Yeah, his issue was like the start G code wasn't auto leveling correctly, I believe, and then halfway through the print it shuts off. And the only reason, so there's only like 2 reasons that could happen, right?
Oh, he's here. We can ask him.
See,
let's bring Raymond in.
I knew he'd be. There he is.
Hey, Ray.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How's it here too?
There you are.
We did it. Preset slicer is set to change the temperature too. Generally speaking, if you use default profiles after so long, and if you let it do it, sometimes the firmware counts that as thermal runaway.
Oh yeah, that's right. I always go into my filament setting and then I change it to use the same temperature the whole print, because it wants to vary it, and that actually could be what was happening to me previously on I think it was the CR10 Max that was doing it.
Well, the first problem is you were using a CR10 Max.
Correct, but I've since upgraded the board and I've got a few other things to tweak on it still, but yes.
I don't see any CR10 Maxes in anybody's frame, so I'm allowed to say that. I do see. Is that a Pro behind you there, Helge?
Yeah, I'm doing some calibrating on this one to the G34 command.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love that command.
It's one of the best.
Changed out the belts and yeah.
What printer is that?
That's the CR10S.
Okay.
Yeah, CR10S. It's a good one.
Yeah, most stable printer I ever had of the large ones anyway.
I like my the CR10 is my oldest printer.
Yeah.
And I wish I could say it was stock, right? But no.
I got a CR10 right there. This is the V2, and I've just swapped in the LGX. So I'm gonna have a video on how I did that and everything. So yeah. I made a drilling template and I drilled directly into the aluminum carriage.
Isn't that the CR10 that you got a deal on?
Yes. Yeah, and it's been printing great, but I was like, when am I going to put the LGX on? And I just decided I'm going to put it on that one. So, and it was once I tightened, all I had to really do on that one was tighten the carriage was loose, and he didn't tighten the eccentric nut. And I told him, I said, like, I can't buy this from you. You need to tighten your eccentric nut. He goes, no, I did that. It didn't work. I'm like, okay. Well, I'll buy it from you then.
That's the way marketplace works, right? Like,
and yeah, I was trying to be helpful because I felt bad because like I got it for like $170. So
as long as they're not selling underwear on there, just buy it. You know,
right?
Like, I guess you could buy the underwear if you need it too, but there's a line in the sand.
Maybe for you.
As long as there's not a line in the underwear, you're good.
That's right.
Skid marks.
That's my funny comment for the day. I mean, it happened earlier this time than usual, but
well, we can do some spin-offs on that one. So,
David went dark.
I'm mood lighting now. Hold on, I'll fix this. The only other G code out there too that I think that could cause that is M999. If you have it configured in your firmware, that one will kill your print job in a hurry because it's called emergency stop. But you would see a failure code that wasn't thermal runaway. It would say just emergency stop. I thought I could fix this. Apparently, my light fixing ability, I was a little overconfident.
Dominic, you're not. If you don't have a bed flinger and you have a non-bed flinger, you're not missing out on anything. The bed flingers are fine, but you know, if your bed it doesn't move, that's just an advantage too. It's just 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other. Really, you can do slightly faster prints when you don't have a bed flinger because you're not moving a huge mass around. So, yeah.
You went with this different lighting right now. Mm-hmm.
Well, we can still see you, so that's right.
I didn't even see what he said. I should bring up the chat window, shouldn't I, guys?
He just said you have a mysterious blue backlight.
It used to be red, but that caused some issues. So now it's blue. It actually changes color. They always decide to do firmware updates when we're live streaming. And you can't
Oh, is that what
schedule them.
happened?
Yeah, so it'll come back on eventually. They're not so smart lights sometimes, if you catch my drift.
I guess if they're on all the time and they're not hard off, then they can do the updates other times.
Yeah. I'm putting the I'm going to be doing the laser on the CR10.
Oh yeah,
I have CR10s. I have to figure out where I'm going to do it though, because I got the I don't, when you guys, if you buy the kit from Reality that had the laser engraver, the one that you got had like the magnetic plate on it.
Yeah, so you just magnetic it to the side or whatever.
Yeah, and then that way you don't really have to like attach it. I'm not sure how safe I feel with putting a laser on the printer with just a magnet, because if it falls off, burn a hole in your wall or something. You need disco mode. I could change it to random. We could have a party. I'll bring the little disco ball. Do that.
Well, I have some Christmas lights I can send you, so you can have around your neck, and that will that will change ambient color if you have music on in the background.
Yeah, there you go. It pulses,
like that.
pulses with the music.
Yep. It only goes off when you hit the proper broadcaster vocal tone. Like,
all the lows.
Yeah. Whoopity whoopity. So we did finish, and I don't know if Greg did another stream, but he keeps finding parts that he forgot about, and then I keep printing more parts. But
well, not forgot about, more like just prioritized.
Yeah. How many, like, I know, Ray, I know you print ABS. Hells, do you print in ABS sometimes, or?
Not anymore. I used up my last roll and have never renewed it because PLA functions okay, and I have this other one, this automotive. I'm not sure what it's called anymore.
That's okay.
The TPU also.
Oh yeah,
and also this PT. Yeah, the other
PT?
PLA.
yeah. The new PLA.
PETG?
Yeah, PETG.
Yeah.
But this ABS something.
Oh, ASA or?
ASA. I think it was. Yeah, but,
the baby brother version of ABS.
Well, because the Vorons typically use it to print ABS, and it has to be an enclosed, heated chamber, so to speak, to prevent warping. You don't want to make it. Could you just imagine what it would look like if you tried that print with all your bed parts and whatnot made out of PLA? They'd just go over time.
Poop and warp.
Yeah. So, Pierre is here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah. So I gotta say the purple parts look the best. They're kind of silky, and they look. I don't know if it probably won't show up on camera very well.
It always does. Camera captures everything.
Yeah, but
like Baby Yoda or a Pokemon ball.
Like this nut came, and it's not showing how purple it is. It looks more blue, but it's actually quite purple. But it's very, very smooth. Like it's very silky. It turned out really well.
That was printed on the Ender?
Yeah.
That was printed on the Ender, yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. When we say Ender 3, what we mean is the frame is an Ender 3. All the pieces, however, are not. That one's pretty far from the...
what hot ends on that one?
That one has the micro Swiss direct drive conversion thing.
Yeah. So
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
but it printed really nice. So I think the biggest thing on this build will be the wiring. It's going to be quite like I don't know what.
Just go wireless.
Nowhere in the instructions do they say do the soldering and wiring first. They say do this. So I'm following the instructions verbatim, and I'm like, it's gonna be difficult to solder.
You'll be fine.
So I'm thinking that all the switches and whatnot should have been soldered first, but whatever.
Everybody knows solder flows up. No,
Yeah, it's soldering right beside PLA. There's nothing wrong with that.
right?
Or ABS. What could go wrong?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I've been printing ears. That was a good one.
Yeah, you had a
Somebody's like,
TPU,
you
right?
want some ears? So I printed one at a PLA, and I'm like, well, we can do TPU, and it would be semi-flexible. And yeah, so then we did TPU. Had to pull out the oldest roll I had.
Now, do we know what the ears are for?
Not really. I mean, they could be like ransom, right? Like, if you want more parts, you better not pay us or whatever. Wah, 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 or whatever.
Or I just
The
thought
other
maybe,
way, I don't know.
maybe some sort of elf ears cosplay.
Which one's that one, Hutch?
Let's see, EPLA.
Oh,
Okay.
EPL. Oh yeah.
This I'm very satisfied with. It prints like something else. So
Who makes it?
yeah, I printed the Harry Potter castle with it.
Hmm.
It came out flawlessly.
What's the manufacturer?
Ad North?
North.
Ad North. Oh,
I think it's a Swedish company or something.
That would make sense. I mean,
Yeah, so
all my boxes are auspiciously this color, and I'm not too sure why.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I don't know why they would all be that color.
yeah, I don't know.
I've got a couple that aren't that color.
but the,
I gotta
the
say,
EPLA
but
was.
most of
I'm
mine-
not sure what the E stands for or what the difference actually are, but it prints really nice.
Maybe the E is like eco mode in your car. It makes you feel better about doing it.
just just like buying a what they call is a Japanese hybrid things. You can buy a Volkswagen with a smaller engine and you have even bigger savings, but no electricity.
A riding lawnmower.
Hey, I
Yeah.
have an electric car. What can I say?
Yeah, me too. But these hybrids, I
But
don't.
I
believe
can't
much.
afford. I can't afford a Tesla, so it's not a Tesla. So but it's an electric car. So
I had an electric car once. Like it was, it said Jeep on the front. But
yeah,
you know,
I don't think it was electric.
oh,
Yeah, well, I had an old Opel. I'm not sure if you're familiar
Yeah,
with that brand. But,
I am.
yeah.
Yep.
But that was kind of electric because the only way you got it to move forward was taking on the starter. So that must be the first
First
electric car.
official electric car.
So,
I remember one of my first cars. It was a Toyota Corolla, 1980, like an older car. The starter went, and it was a manual, so I could just push start it. It was easy, right? And these girls kept asking me all the time, "Hey, take us to wherever, take us to McDonald's or whatever at lunchtime and whatever." So I'm like, okay, fine. So I took them, and then I made them push start it like 3 times, and then I turned on the ignition so that it would actually start.
we can go to McDonald's as long as it's downhill from here.
And it was up a slight hill too. I made them push because I was tired of them constantly making me take them places.
Yeah, I had a
You're
Saturn. You had to push start. Yeah.
But anyway, back to the laser stuff. Is it any good on the printer, or you know?
So the thing with doing like attachments to your printer to do laser, it never use the word laser cutter with what you're gonna put on your
Oh,
printer.
it's a burner.
It'll burn. You might cut some very thin material like like paper, cardboard, that kind of stuff. But
Balsa wood, for example.
That might be a little tougher with the wattage of laser that David has. It's probably better for CO2 for that.
Yeah, the thing is like all of the ones that like the magnet on, and it's in the garage. Otherwise I'd show you, but it's very similar to all the others. Is like those blue lasers just aren't. People will tell you they can cut, but it would take so many passes. I would never call it a cutter.
Yeah,
like a burner for sure. And the wood that they give you as a test wood is like 1/8 balsa wood to like just test, burn an etch into. But like if you want to get serious about it, you got to do a CO2.
Yeah.
And
then you can cut acrylic, you can cut wood, you can cut,
Yeah.
but make sure you have ventilation or a filter system or something, because
or you
when
like
you're
huffing fumes, I guess.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
well
know.
you're basically gonna kill yourself.
Well, yeah. You can get a Chinese version of those a good CO2 laser cutter for around like $400. It's all manual setup. You have to align the mirrors yourself, all that stuff. But you could choose your laser. It could be 40 watt, 50 watt, whatever. But just remember the eye protection and stuff. The hobby, like you can't, if you got a very high wattage blue laser, you might be able to etch acrylic, but you would never do anything harder than that.
Ray, have you played with any of the lasers?
No, can't be bothered.
Yeah.
It's just one of those safety things, because when it's firing,
is.
right, you can't go into the room
Well,
without eye protection.
with that, unless it's in a properly laser protected case, so that the laser light's not gonna damage your eyes.
Yeah, and like I've seen actually some people like, look at this life hack. They'll put their lids for the resin printer over a laser and be like, yeah, that's good. I'm like, nope, still gonna burn your eyeballs right out of your head. It has to filter the right wavelength of light. And
yeah, because most of the lasers, it's not visual light that's damaging your eyes. It's it's a wavelength that you can't see. Now, even with the shields on top, and you can watch it cut, when you're seeing, maybe you can see a bit of the beam or whatnot. Those are just particles interacting, changing the wavelength and whatnot to one that you can actually see. But the ones that are damaging are being protected by the shield. So if you were to open it up, it should cut it off, but for safety reasons. But yeah, you don't want to. It's not worth it.
Once you start seeing that black spot, it's too late.
Yeah.
Thankfully, your eyes are pretty robust and can work around small damages. But yeah, it's just like, even those green lasers that you use for astronomy are if you are close enough, you can burn with them. They will start stuff on fire. It's pretty.
I saw there was some guy doing some test with a small handheld laser, and he went through some different colored balloons.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the color, but there was one type of color that went boom in a second.
Yeah.
And after a little while, the rest went like boom, 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 boom. So it's quite powerful light source for being so small. So if you have many times double that on a printer, you better be safe.
Well, the CO2 lasers are about, I don't know, maybe 20 inches, ish, maybe, you know, wide. The tubes, it's a glass tube filled with CO2, and then they energize it, and it bounces between two mirrors inside until it gets enough energy to go out the one side, and the beam is so focused like that's it's amazing what you can cut through. Like you can cut through I think it's about 8 millimeter polycarbonate, right? So like it's pretty powerful, some of those CO2 lasers.
I think there is a guy which have a video on the tube about he bought a cheap Chinese something like that, and he takes it apart and shows how it's made. And he went like, I wouldn't power this up even with the thickest glasses at hand, because this tube is going like, it's so thin glass. If this goes like, it goes like boom.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then we've been looking at some of the retail ones. So the retail ones, they're built definitely a little bit better with higher quality control. They use distilled water to actually cool the laser. It's quite something. And then the back of the unit is that holds the CO2 laser. So if it does, break or explode or whatever, it's contained and whatnot. So it's pretty slick. So we've been kind of doing some research on what the differences are and whatnot. So it's pretty cool what they can do, though. But it's also, I think you have to be able to justify the cost of those ones, because those ones are $5,000 to $8,000 US.
Yeah, where the K40 laser on Amazon or from AliExpress, it actually looks really similar to those retailer ones, but like it's you can get it sub $1,000. And like the truth of the laser too, like when Greg and I work in education, and the one we were looking at, the fellow, he was a nice guy from the one brand was Glowforge.
Yeah.
But like he's like, this one has a door you can open up on the back and you can push your material through. And I'm like, so as soon as you open the door, the laser is not contained anymore, right? He's like, well, no, only the people with protection should be in the room. I'm like, well, then that's no good for like a school, right? Like,
yeah. So the Pro one has those slots so you can do larger materials and whatnot. But yeah, he said, you wouldn't operate it without that one in that mode without eye protection.
Yeah. Because it's just not enclosed anymore. Yeah, I Pierre did ask, and Raymond answered in the chat if you guys were going to do a Voron, Helgen, Raymond, of a size. So I don't know. I think Raymond said, nah, I don't got room. Helge, you going to do a Voron?
It's in the future, maybe. So
yeah.
I'm rolling the dice back and forward, so see.
Yeah. Well, I figured I'll start with the small one, and then once it's done, you can print my parts for the bigger one, and then I can build the bigger one. So we'll just slowly scale up.
Well, and I like Raymond, you have the little Core XY already
at work. Yeah.
But don't you have a Core XY at home? A small one?
Oh, I have a Core XY at home. Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean,
because is that the Mamarubot, right?
That's a Mamarubot. Yeah.
Mars 2? Mars?
The Mars 2. Yeah.
Which is not to be confused with the Elegoo. Okay. Completely different. I love how they get names.
Do you use that
way,
one?
a little bit off topic, like the boron and so on, but the resin printers, you made a video just recently, I think it was David. Yeah.
Yep.
What I didn't pay much attention. It was in the background, but just brain fart now. What's the best way to go there?
Um,
It
Which
depends.
type?
Is the answer.
mhm,
To smaller models.
mhm.
Yes, if you want high res small models, I think resin is good, but David,
Resin is also bad. I mean, the one thing that I would look for definitely, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit in the next video, is the actual slicer and the firmware. I think it plays a big part rather than the printers, because like you look at like an Anycubic Mars or sorry, the Elegoo Mars. Wow, Anycubic
Photon.
Photon. Thank you. Like all of the actual devices, like even the frozen zeros, like they're all the same. They have a screen on the bottom. It lifts the build plate up and down, and the difference is maybe like they use a different shaped bat in the bottom. But I think like right now, there's a series out from Creality called the Hallet, and then it uses open source Linux version of on the controller. So then you're not limited anymore to using something like the Chi2 box, which recently locked its firmware, right? So like if you're buying a Elegoo Mars right now, or like the Frozen, I think still had used it. Like you're locking yourself into a company that decided to close the doors on basically consumers, and it's behind a paywall to get all the features in their slicer now. And like they did that with Ray. What's the ones that were before the Hallet? The LD, is that right? LD series.
LD002.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's like the Creality one, and so those ones have Cheeto, and if you upgrade them, you can only ever use that firmware. So
yeah, and
I
hopefully
think
they'll
that's a
change that.
consideration
But,
more than the actual device. You know what I mean?
and then
But,
So
okay.
and then your
But there's
environment where you're
different screens
yeah,
in the
so
bottom.
the monochromatic screens,
Hmm.
either 2K, 4K, and I
most of
do
them are
think some are
mono now.
8K now. The bigger ones are 8K, but monochromatic will cure faster. So when you're looking at that, almost all of them, unless you go back far enough to like the original Anycubic ones now, will come with monochromatic screens.
Yeah,
Like the original
that's
Mars didn't, but
Yeah.
then after that they started to.
yeah, and it's just you get better contrast. So before they had to let the light through, it makes a mask, right? So you basically have a UV light source underneath, and then the LCD screen, whether it's mono or not, basically is blocking the light, and then then your screen is putting whatever pattern of that layer on it, so to allow the light to go through. So monochromatic makes sense because you're just allowing basically it's on or off, right? Whereas the color ones, because you had to change the light pattern to allow it to go through, potentially could change the amount of UV light that was getting through. So the mono makes it just simpler. And so pretty much, I don't know, Ray, do you know any new one that isn't mono now? I think they're all pretty close.
Yeah, I think they pretty well all are mono.
Yeah.
I know Creality's got a new screen that they developed for the Hallet.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance really to tear one apart and look at it, but I will eventually.
Yeah, and it's a mono too. I forget what resolution it is. 2K and 4K seem very popular. 4K gives you better resolution. That's really what you're getting.
Ventilation is key.
Yeah.
I have a shed outside, which I will put it in if I ever buy it. So, is it any kind of temperature sensitive in order to?
Oh yeah, you have to be above. The resin likes to kick around 20 to 25 degrees in that area. You can't So like I was printing on mine, and the room was about 16 degrees.
Hmm.
It's just once it gets too low, the resin will.
It gets a little thick.
Yeah,
It's too thick. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and so then
like
it doesn't
motor
flow
oil.
as nice.
Yeah.
So because
Okay.
when if we're doing a layer change, the layer, like, it's only moving up a small amount, right? So if it's too thick, the amount of time it takes for the resin to flow in before it moves back down, you're going to get inconsistent layers at that point. And so if it's warm enough, then it just flows in more like water. But it's thick. Your resin can be thick depending on the brand and whatnot.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
So
Now,
move to the equator or something. If you,
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it just that you can do it inside. Just don't do it like we did for our first test in our office. We thought we had adequate ventilation in the one room.
Turns out the one room vents into the other room, and then you're like, "Oh God!" And everybody has headaches.
Everyone had migraines, and it's like, clean
And
it up,
then
clean it
the
up.
COVID, we better go home.
I guess you were the most popular guys at
Well,
the office.
there's only
That
three of
There's-
us in
there's-
that office.
Yeah, and two of us are here.
Sometimes a fourth, and yeah, none of us were happy.
No, well, like I was okay until the second day. It didn't bother me too
Oh,
much.
it bothered me like
but yeah, the first day-
within an hour after we started.
Yeah.
I
Greg's
had
like, I got a headache. I'm like,
and
you're
then
a big baby.
Yeah, and then I left for a bit. My headache went away.
I left, and then it turns out like I have one here that was in the furnace room, and then I'm like, man, now my head hurts. So was it? Yeah, Gary mentioned Form Labs, and Form Lab printers are actually SLA, not DLP. So they're still resin, but they use the laser to cure instead of a LCD screen. So it's a slight difference of things, but they Form Labs, and like you said, they give you the slicer, but you get to pay $200 for the material.
Wow.
I can't remember the brand. It'll come to me like later, but there is a brand. They're one of the ones that have the RFID code on their spool of filament that they sell you.
Well, Dremel used to do that.
There
was a number of companies that tried to lock the filament.
Yeah,
and it's like,
but the printer was $10,000 to start with, and then it was $200 for the filament, and I'm like,
I
wow.
can understand if they're doing commercial stuff and they want to keep you in their environment and they want to like make sure that you're only using their filament, so then they can cover warranty if you put the wrong filament through. I get it, but really,
yeah. At the same time, come on now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the Form Labs ones are a little bit different technology, and it is laser. So when you put the lid on those ones, it filters out that laser source. So and they are way more expensive. Like the Form Lab stuff is not like under $1,000. See, what do we got here? I'm on their website. I'm curious. They have an order now button.
Oh, they have an open. Gary says they have an open mode that allows third-party resins.
is now the little voice in the back of your head going, push it, push it, push it.
Push it. So their Form 3 package is $3,500 US.
It's it's really interesting how everything's been evolving over time. That used to be $80,000, then it was $10,000, and now it's like more reasonable, and then that eventually trickles down to the consumer side of things. So it's pretty, like, you just look at how many years we went from like a 720p LCD with maybe a what was it, Ray? Weren't they using like an actual projector at one point to project the image the bottom of some of those? So you actually used a LCD projector, and it would bounce off a mirror and go, a DLP projector to project your image on and whatnot. Like, we've come a long way, man. Yeah. because that whole rig was trying to align things. I could just imagine was a little bit of a nightmare too.
Yeah.
We had one at the shop for a while. I just finally took it apart and recycled to pieces.
Yeah.
The way to do
Yeah.
it.
Was it difficult to align everything and get it to work?
No. Once it was all bolted together properly,
Yeah.
it was fine to align everything.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But it just the footprint was probably kind of absurd compared to now. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't very big at all. Like probably about the same size as David's resin that he has now.
But now the actual build plate, what was the size of that? In comparison, was it 50% smaller? Was it 50% bigger?
They
That's
weren't
about
small.
the same size as what David has.
Yeah.
The build plate.
Yeah. The big trick with those ones was the prisms.
Yeah.
The hobby printers have gone way up in quality and dropped in prices. This is true and false. I agree with that statement. It's just you got to watch the brand.
You do, because you can get really questionable cheap printers that are that electrify David and throw off print beds.
Instead of a 3D printer, we should call it a print bed ejector system.
Right?
It's a feature.
Yeah. It's the BQ print bed ejection system.
The BQ toaster. Ding.
Yeah.
It's still in timeout, guys. Like it came out and now it's still thinking about what it did.
So Ray, did you get a chance to work on your IDEX? I found those same print heads that you got for your IDEX project online.
Yeah.
And so I'm considering those, but then I found same manufacturer, slightly different model that it attaches slightly differently. I think those ones were made for an ender, but I'm thinking those ones might be better because I could put a plate in between for adjusting. So I'm not sure.
Mine's meant for linear rails.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and I'm not doing the linear rail way, so that's why I'm thinking this other one might be better. It basically looks quite similar to yours, but it doesn't have the shroud. It still has the fan and everything built in, but it has basically you can bolt onto the carriage. You just can bolt on the head right to the carriage. So it was a slightly different model than the one you got.
Right.
But otherwise I think it was the same company. And I want to say they were like $35 a piece.
Yeah, about
less.
$35.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah. So it's that without the metal shroud. Basically, the it's more exposed, and then it's turned. The motor's turned 90 degrees, so that if I bolt it on, it's not going to impact the uprights.
Right.
So that's the other reason why I was leaning towards that, just because of the orientation of the motor too.
Yeah. I did a little bit of research when I got this one because I knew I wanted to put linear rails on.
Yeah.
And that's why it's specific. And the reason why I want to put linear rails on is because I want to be able to bring those two print heads well off of the print bed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that when they park, they're parked off to the side, so the other one can travel the full width of the bed.
And that's so I want to do the same thing. So my plan is to widen the top, the top brace and the bottom, and I'm going to take the whole underpiece, take it out, and just redesign it. Just make a sort of a box that so the bed's more in the center, and then the heads can still park off to the side so that you can reach anywhere on the build plate. So I'm just going a slightly different way to do the same thing.
Right, exactly.
100 different ways to do the same thing, which is great.
And then I'm sure David's when he does his is going to be different than mine, right? So it's like it'll be interesting.
But Raymond, the head you showed there, have you tested it? Is it any good or?
I haven't even tested it yet. No.
Okay. Because I
couldn't tell you, but it's all direct drive. Everything's all enclosed in one.
Now, I viewed it online. I was Just
Is
about
it all
to
metal?
pull the trigger on one.
Hit that buy button.
Is it all metal?
I
Or
think
probably
it
not.
is.
That's actually getting more and more common too, where they're actually putting the all metal
Yeah.
heat breaks in, which is good. I would try building the
Yeah.
deranged rabbit carrot feeder. Yeah, it worked with Marlin. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's basically a Voron version of an MMU, and it could do, I think it's 6 filaments. And
I mean,
yeah, it's pretty cool. Nero 3D built it on some live streams and has demoed it. It's pretty cool.
you could definitely hack it. I would say to work on Marlin, because Marlin actually does have MMU support.
Yeah, but
So
it's not an official MNU, so I'm not sure quite
no,
how
but as
it communicates.
Marlin, as long as you can get the baud rate in there and the board is okay.
Yeah, but it connects
guess,
to the
right?
Pi directly. Eh?
Oh,
Yeah, so the way it works is you use Clipper, and so it's all it coordinates it all through the Pi. So
oh,
yeah, so
there you go.
that's the way that one works. So you'd have to learn your Clipper and whatnot, and maybe some mainsail. And
When you say learn Clipper, that's like probably more work than it actually is.
well, no, but until you actually get and I'm going to learn
I know,
Clipper,
yeah.
but it's one of those things like I'm just giving you the gist of what I know, right? I don't. Maybe it's easier than said than done. I guess it
find out.
depends on your skill level, because some people can't compile Marlin, right? So it's they have real troubles reading the error codes and stuff.
I had to do that. It was perfect. I had to. No,
It's like
Greg's actually
it's like the Brady Bunch.
it is like the Brady Bunch, right? This week we've been working on mostly Greg. I'm going to print a few parts now on one of those Formbot, now Vivenda T-Rex IDEX printers. They're like the large format, 400 by 500 IDEX.
That reminds me, I've got to send you the files.
Yeah,
to get the
because I'm the ABS printer in the group, people. Just me.
Yeah. Eventually, one day.
Well, the thing with so like it's out in the garage, right? And if the furnace wasn't running, I'd be done too, right? Because once it's below, I forget. Because Hells was saying it was -5 where he is Celsius, I would imagine, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's -12 here right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're balmy.
You're balmy. It's short weather out there. But like, yeah, like even inside the enclosure in the garage, after like I would think 0 degrees, because I did print some of those parts for Greg when it was around 0. The printer was actually capable of heating the chamber to the temperature before, but it's not. There's no heating element in there.
Yeah.
I debated going to PetSmart and getting the rock heaters, for lizards.
Yeah.
Space heater.
Yeah, just do a little space heater in there. But I'm glad the furnace is working so that I can still print out there and use it as an area.
It's not a garage. It's now a craft space.
Shop. Yes, it's a work in progress still. But the work is going.
Look on the bright side. In 100 years, nobody would care anyway. So
There it is.
It's
Yeah. People will look back now and go, "You guys were doing what for 3D printing? We just push a button and it's here."
I just ask Alexa and it shows up.
Oh man, you just ticked off all the people watching on stream. Glad my speakers are off, otherwise it would have kicked in.
Alexa, order Greg stuff.
Whoa.
Use the gold card.
Yeah. Use the gold.
Hey Google.
Whoa.
Hey, that's enough.
Whoa. See what everybody uses, and then that's good. Order one Nest Hub Pro, please. Thank you. I gotta be careful though, because legit, they're both above my head, both brands.
And by the way, change the shipping address too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send a gift too.
Order this and ship too. Raymond, care of Spool 3D. No, just kidding. Oh man. So I think we mentioned it a little bit at the beginning, and this isn't like a conversation so much piece, but there's the contest for the Christmas thing. There's like 2 weeks, I think, for submissions for the printing stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, if you guys have like Christmas bauble that you have designed, you can submit it. Yeah, so as long as you can get it in, because yeah, actually it's one week. One week. If you can get it in and we can print it and stuff like that, that'd be good.
And we only have a couple of entries so far. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
We need to finish everyone getting their entries in, because there are prizes, which I know on Monday I think I'm calling Ray and Derek. No, is he not there?
Tuesday.
Wait,
Monday
I had to
Thursday,
drop
busy.
the stream while you were doing.
Tuesday. So Tuesday I'll be
sorry
calling
about that, Dominic.
I'll be putting an order in Monday, but I'll be talking to Ray and Derek on Tuesday and confirming a few things. So
On that topic, Dominic, too, I won't mention the name of the thing so you don't have to drop the stream again, but I voice locked mine. So like unless it hears one of the two voices that it should hear in the house. Can the design be multiple printed parts or just one? So as long as it matches the size, I don't care. So like if it doesn't exceed the size limit in the document, I don't see that as a problem being more than one part.
Yeah, no, it
because like I've seen those little like it's been on Thingiverse for years. It's the Christmas tree with the little ornament that prints separate, and then you just hang it on the side and it swings back and forth. Yeah, no, it can be whatever you want.
It can be 22 parts. I mean, it doesn't that doesn't matter. We just want it
with
to
assembly
be
instructions. We're slow people.
Yeah, within the guidelines of the size. So we tried to make it as broad as possible, but we also kept it small enough so that anyone should be able to print it on almost any printer.
Yeah.
So that's why we did the design guidelines that way. Is we wanted to make it as open as possible to everyone. So.
And the size, if you're wondering, probably like that Baby Yoda behind Raymond there is probably like roughly your parameters. Yeah, like he's
there's
and then Helge, and that's See, those are
that's the elf on the shelf one, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's eating the elf on the shelf. I thought that was hilarious when I saw that.
It's a good one. Have you guys seen that? It posted, I forget who posted it in Patreon, but it was the dragon, that new flexible dragon.
Yeah,
I think
Thingiverse.
Was it Stig that did that?
It might have been Stig, but yeah, it made it to my printer queue at least for one printer.
We're gonna print a 5-foot one on the belt printer.
Oh man!
Right, you just straighten it out and away you go. That'd be awesome. And then you just put it right at the back on the shelf,
all the way across the wall.
Yeah.
Are you scaling the whole thing up too, so like its head gets big?
I'm not sure. Derek's going to take care of it.
Okay.
Nice.
I like it. I'm gonna try to do this again. Let's see if Restream does it this time. Hold on, everybody. I'm really good at this. I do it all the time. No, I do it once a month when we use Restream. Okay.
But if you have your entries, remember it's info@3dmakeit.ca to enter, and go to 3dmakeit.ca for any details. It's also on our community tab on YouTube. All the information for the contest.
Yeah.
So
it'll be a little varied.
Everyone, come on, No, I reposted it.
Oh, you reposted it.
Yeah.
How about this week on Tuesday? We do a live stream and show how bad our artistic skills are.
We could
Yeah,
try that.
We'll make
Yeah.
some baubles live. It'll be good.
Well-
Why does it always do this? I don't want the folder. Hold on. Jeez, I want this. There. Thank you. See? That was harder than it had to be.
It's okay.
Restream, why you hate me? But yeah, so patreon.com 3D make it. Lots of stuff gets that's where we use as the hub for the Patreons, but the Discord's also a chatting too. But thank you everybody on the list.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
and don't forget 3dmakeit.ca for all of the info on the contest.
Yep.
And also, as Raymond always likes to point out in chat, like, which we appreciate, don't forget to like if you haven't subscribed, do so, and share it with a friend.
we got more of those too. Let's see here. Let's do this one too. We do have a podcast. We just haven't made an episode in a bit.
Yeah, we're going to have to think about. I think we should do a couple. We'll have to get some topics and then do some deep dives, because those are more deep dives into stuff rather
nerdy
than just
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I'm gonna have the lychee and Chidu box and any other resin slicer I can get my hands on video to follow up the last one.
And it was Dominic that put in the video for the dragon.
Was it Dominic? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember, and I apologize. I should remember things because I'm not a goldfish, I don't think.
It depends. There are days.
There are days. It depends exactly what we bought from a bakery that day. If I'm a goldfish for the rest of the day. See here, I got to catch up on chat because I had it closed for a bit. Multiple prints, we did that one. This one. Yeah, thank you for posting it. I think we should do it with the palette, the dragon.
Well,
Each little section different.
Well, I got it literally all packed up here, ready to go back to the office. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's been in existence for a while, but like I think the only thing we printed on the palette is that big rocket that's still in existence that didn't get smacked by desiccant.
Yeah. Yeah, we have desiccant wars at our office where someone says something and you got a packet of desiccant flying over and hitting them in the head and stuff. So, yeah.
It's pretty good. We get the good stuff too, though. Like the desiccant packs are heavy.
I don't know if
some
I have one
damage.
around here.
But yeah, we're getting top of the hour, gentlemen and ladies and fine humans of the world. So we'll probably sign off here for now, but we'll be back hopefully, like I said, midweek for a build off guitar pick.
Yep. And it works too.
I had one. It worked.
Yeah, you printed one. Yeah.
I just can't play it anymore. So
hey Tyler, how you doing?
Hey Tyler, thanks for coming. See ya.
What, already? Hey, you got here a little late. We've
Yeah,
been
buddy.
doing this for almost an hour.
It's okay. It's in BC.
You're late, okay?
Well, so we'll hit end stream if y'all don't know, and then the back channel will be open for a bit. But thank you all for coming out and hanging out.
And don't forget to get your entries in for the contest. We want to start
true.
printing them for everyone and to see, and then we can do the big draw.
The big reveal off. Yes. All right. So until next time, you guys stay classy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.